Why, hello there everyone. I'm Laxow, aka the Kumo Sensei. Minasan, ohayou gozaimasu. And today we're looking at the Poecilotheria ornata, also known as the Fringed Ornamental Tarantula. And oh boy, I am excited. This is actually my favorite tarantula species of all time. Now this is not my favorite genus, but it is my favorite species of all time. Now I do have some things I don't like about this species despite being my favorite species. And I'll get into that in a little bit. So allow me to explain why this is my favorite species. Now for those who are wondering, I have about 50 of these specimens here. You're going to see a few of them here in this video today, some males and some females. And I'll actually label which ones are male and which ones are females, just to help you guys out a little bit on which ones are males and which ones are female. But anyhow though, allow me to explain why this is my favorite species. So this is probably the most purplest spider, or was one of the most purplest spiders at the time, and this species to me is something special. Now they do grow up to be quite large in terms of size. Most specimens, especially the females, will reach about 7 to 8 inches in leg span, and honestly that is quite a leggy specimen. But I know that some people say 10 inches, but I have never seen a 10-inch leg span for a Poecilotheria ornata. Most that I've seen are usually 7 to 8 inches in leg span. So there is a little bit of an exaggeration going on there with their size. But large size and purple colors is one thing I like a lot, which is why I like this species a lot, and also why I have a lot of specimens. And this species is also part of the ESA species of Poecilotheria, so it's one of the 5 that is protected, which means this species cannot be crossed across state lines. So whatever state you have them in here in the United States, that is the state that they're stuck in. So it is relatively difficult now to get this species, especially breeding projects, but I think I'll be fine for the most part because I do have some new bloodlines or some new slings, so I'm going to use them for future breeding projects. I'm hoping that those slings are males though, so that way I can breed them to the females in the future. And yes, ESA means they're endangered, so this is an endangered species. And honestly, it feels pretty amazing to produce endangered species of tarantulas, you know, here in captivity. There's a really huge satisfaction to doing it, I guess. Maybe I'm saying that as a way to flex or something, I don't know. I still do think that more could be better though, because especially how difficult it is now to get breeding projects of this species and any of the other ESA Poecilotheria species, you know, to get going for breeding projects. So yeah, stay tuned and maybe I'll produce more in the future. Let us just hope those new slings that I got, those new bloodline are males, right? Fingers crossed. Now I'm going to talk about the things I don't really like about this species. But I think I should actually include the majority of the Poecilotheria genus, and that is that they're not really good eaters. In my experience, the majority of Poecilotheria I've kept, especially the ornata, are not technically the best eaters. Now granted, there are some specimens out there where people have like really great eaters, but for me, I keep a very large number of Poecilotherias and I breed and produce them, so I have a pretty big sample number to experience from, I guess. And I have to say that the majority of them are not great eaters, especially Poecilotheria. And you may have noticed that in this video, there's going to be some clips of me throwing in the feeders and they're just literally crawling around. Now don't get me wrong guys, the Poecilotheria ornata do usually take them, but usually only at night when there's complete darkness and where there is little to no disturbance at all. The slight disturbance can pretty much freak them out. And I think this species probably gets spooked out the easiest. So if you don't want a frantic tarantula, then I don't think this is your species or your tarantula that you're looking for. Now that I mention it, I think this species has the most escapes of all tarantulas I had. But then again though, I do have 50 specimens, which is quite a lot compared to some specimens I do keep as holdbacks. Because usually I keep a small number, like around 20 or so. Maybe since I have more ornatas, maybe the sample numbers are bigger for the escapees that I get, I guess. So maybe it's just a number bias. Maybe you shouldn't consider them to be escape artists. Now typically they do go frantic every single time during maintenance. So whenever I'm spot cleaning their enclosures, filling up water dishes or something, or even just throwing in the feeders, they usually freak out quite a bit. They usually just run around the enclosure and then squeeze tight somewhere and just hang on there. Sometimes they'll actually run out, which is why I mentioned escapees. But boy oh boy, when they sprint, they sprint. They can run quite a distance, I tell you what. And it's not because I do it intentionally, it's just the fact that it's usually during maintenance, especially filling up water dishes or, you know, cleaning out their boluses. That's when they usually make a run for it. But I still do love the species overall, and it is my favorite species nonetheless, despite having drawbacks. There's no perfect spider out there for me, but I do love this one the most, so I have a bit of a bias. Now this recording did happen at night. Most of my recordings are usually around nighttime, and the reason why is because tarantulas are nocturnal, which everybody knows that already. But I find that working with tarantulas at night, especially breeding, is like the best way to get optimal results. Now granted, you can breed and work with them in the mornings, and they pretty much do just fine. I just like working with them at night because I can actually see most of my spiders out. Because when it's daytime or when I put on the lights, they're pretty much reclusive as can be. And I do a lot of my work at night, guys. And I'll be honest, I don't really get much sleep, but I love what I do. Now I do spend about 3 to 4 days a week working with spiders because I really want to get this going as a business in the future, and I am still working my new part-time job as well as doing some on and off jobs on the internet as well. So I have a lot of stuff I'm doing currently with my personal life, and I have been super busy, and I only get 1 day off this week, so 1 day of break, which is Friday. And honestly, that is a coincidence because I literally thought I wasn't going to get a break this week. So I have been running left, and right all over the place. But I really want to get my life together, which is why I've been working as hard as I am currently. And I'm actually surprised I can still get videos out on time on Tuesdays and Fridays, which is honestly a cool thing. And oh, if you want to contact me in terms of tarantula breeding and whatnot, I do have an email, guys. That is the best way to get a response from me in terms of like tarantula breeding and questions and whatnot, or you can just leave them down in the comments below. But really, sending an email in terms of like tarantula business and whatnot is the best way to contact me. But anyhow though, guys, I think I'm gonna wrap it up around here for today. Just another day of Poecilotheria, especially my favorite species, the ornata. So, without further ado, I'm Laxow, aka the Kumo Sensei. Please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay updated whenever I upload here on the channel. I upload every single Tuesday and Friday, so please feel free to do so, and stick around. And also, follow me on my social medias, and support me on Patreon. And with that, stay lax, and Laxow out from the Kumo Sensei.